Woo, nice. What's up, guys? Very first drive review with Tom Burkhardt from Car Revs Daily in the 2016 Lexus LX570. This truck is amazing. Oh my God. So it's all new for 2016 with 5.7 liter V8 making 383 horsepower, 403 foot-pounds of torque through an 8-speed automatic transmission, and really a lot of kit on this truck. So let's talk about how it drives first, and then talk about its looks and cabin, and then try to close with some pricing info and touch on some of the options on this particular truck. So LX570, Lexus flagship. This thing is amazing. Just snippet base from $89,000, and we've got it in Sport drive mode as well as Sport Plus in the configurable settings, which is pretty intense. So in addition to adaptive variable steering for 2016, we've got an adjustable suspension with adjustable height control, so you can have it, really sink down to those, the Range Rover access point levels, and as well as raise up the suspension for some rock crawling or stuff like that. And that extra control also lets the LX570 be a lot sportier than it ever has been. Look at that, this thing can dance. So it's an enormous 7 to 8 passenger vehicle. The LX570, majors on its bomb-proof chassis and off-road prowess, paired with ridiculous levels of luxury. So that's been the raison d'etre for the LX570 for many years, since its first gen LX450 in the 90s, and this one looks to be the best yet. It looks insanely good outside. A really cool, of course, cool LEDs, triple beam LEDs, as well as LED DRLs and some LED spot fogs in the bumper, and then a really nice horizontal gray sort of El Finesse style grille. It's a new expression. It looks really trucky, really butch, but also instantly Lexus, but very different than the GX and RX and NX below it. Obviously this is like the king. This is the king truck. So in Sport Plus we've got shift paddles, and it will run me into the limiter. This thing is a real Sport Plus F Sport style truck for 2016, which is amazing. So let's try to get on a little curvier roads. It feels exceptionally nimble so far. Terrific steering. It's meaty at speed, but very light around town. And as always, the LX and Land Cruiser siblings are, they're really easy and confidence inspiring to drive. They really are just are supremely trustworthy, and don't feel choppy and sort of bouncy like some of the Suburbans do, and even Escalades when they're unloaded. But there's definitely that sense that you could literally drive this thing across the Sahara in luxury and comfort. That's certainly true for 2016, especially because of the new cool box that's included as standard. So we've got that's included on this truck. So that's just a nice little glove compartment area or a stowage box here that you can either put just random stuff in, or you can have drinks in there and have them get nicely cooled down. So I'm gonna go back to normal mode and leave the sport gear knob setting. Actually, I'm gonna go back into Sport Plus, but go into the regular drive gear knob. This LX feels awesome. So the driving position is really good on first sitting. The cabin luxury is stellar, and it feels pretty quick. I mean, for this giant behemoth of a vehicle, it really does feel quick. Oh, it's so smooth and quiet. Man, this thing goes down the road like a champ. This is an excellent vehicle. The LX570 is going head-to-head with the Infiniti QX80, Cadillac Escalade, some of the Range Rovers, although the Range Rover only seats 5, so perhaps some Range Rover Sports, Mercedes-Benz GLS, as well as the new Audi Q7. The Q7 is probably its biggest nemesis in terms of the newness and the level of technology available on the vehicles, paired with that 7-seat super rich family abilities and presence. So the LX definitely fits really comfortably in that class, and it will soon compete with perhaps a long wheelbase Volkswagen Touareg and the upcoming BMW X7 for 2018. But none of those trucks are really as serious as the LX is. I mean, this LX runs a combination of unibody and ladder frame construction, which just makes it just have the rigidity of I don't know what, of let's say a Koenigsegg. You know, this thing is just massively rigid, massively strong, and massively capable. You know, it can do those desert adventures like we mentioned, but you know, it's also really good on the way to the golf club. It's good around town. It's good to it's good for people who like active safety features. And for the first time, I think it might be a little bit of a handler. We've got, I believe, 21-inch wheels. Let me check it at this light. The performance focus for the LX570 is pretty new, particularly versus its Land Cruiser cousin, which stays as, you know, that solid sort of, you know, Sahara Adventure style machine. Okay, 20-inch 5-spoke wheels with liquid graphite finish. Torsion, limited slip differential, adaptive variable suspension, adaptive height control, full-time 4-wheel drive with low range, lots of really good performance stuff. We're actually on mud and snow tires for this truck, which is appropriate, right? You know, it would be a little silly to have P0s on here, but a man can dream, right? It would be really fun to have an F-Sport version of this truck, especially in this generation with its new adaptive steering, which makes, you know, what is, you know, a very secure driving style for the LX in most of its moods. You know, you can make it a little friskier. You can make it frisky. A lot of drivers will want it to have that sort of calm, back in D mode now, will want it to have that sort of calm and very confidence-inspiring handling style and very smooth ride, of course. But there are people like us who or even really nice people who on a commute home from work, you know, they need it in that sport sharp, and they really want to push the limits a little bit of what kind of performance they're looking for and what the vehicle can do. And in that regard, the 2016 LX570 is much more capable than ever before. This new 8-speed automatic is big news. The engine is largely carryover. This absolutely state-of-the-art quad-cam, chain-driven 5.7-liter V8. Didn't need much upgrading, but switching from a 6-speed automatic, I believe, before to this new 8-speed is very transformative because it is a power multiplier. It helps make the most of the power that the truck delivers and be able to surge ahead without, you know, the big downshift moment or other types of, like, you know, harshness in the drive experience. You can stay classy and stay fast even with you know, 6,500 pounds below you and 8 people behind you. You know, so that's really an awesome trait for the vehicle, and that continues for this year. It drives really nicely. The steering has a ton of feel. And with this adaptive variable ratio, even in regular mode, it is very you know, it's very true around center and safe and confidence inspiring. But it does quicken up, and it requires fewer turns lock to lock than a typical standard geared steering setup. So nice, yeah, really strong brakes, really good feel, good inputs, great control over the vehicle. But with your foot down, this LX now dives away, you know, just is jumping out off the line and jumping around corners and really liking it. Like, you know, it doesn't feel as though it's being pushed too hard or too much out of its core envelope of capabilities. So that's awesome. Just a moment. These guys are working on something. Real close, 500 feet. Okay, I think I'm gonna turn around. Woo. All right. Keep driving. driving a little bit. So the LX570 really did need to step up its game. You know, in addition to all of its abilities and its very, very loyal buyer base, including you know, in all the glitziest zip codes worldwide, there's a lot more competition, and not just from that GLS, which is the new GL series from Mercedes, but like we mentioned, you know, you've got the all-new Q7, you've got an extremely confident even Ford Expedition Platinum these days, and the Escalade and Denali and those guys are getting better every day. So it needed to get better, and this LX is a massive improvement. I love the way it drives, which is kind of unexpected. You know, we're at a family car challenge in Georgia, so there's lots of family focus, and you know, a little less of the paddle shifted style of driving. But you know, it's nice to know that, you know, if you're spending 90 grand on your Lexus, it is going to have that new Lexus fun to drive element. That is such a big part of their new GSF, RCF, F Sport, and overall lineup. Really good brakes. I mean, this car is pretty. This truck is good around these corners. Big compression right here. Off-camber turn. Really nice. Whew, I really like that this truck has paddle shifters. I think that all vehicles should have paddle shifters, and I'm glad this one does, because it with that 8-speed in particular, it just gives you a lot more control. In the good drive modes, we had it in S for those little corners. Would have been better in Sport Plus. In the Sport and Sport Plus drive modes, it will keep you in a low gear around corners, but in regular drive and in a lot of situations, you know, it is going to have upshifted you like all vehicles, just to conserve fuel and to be as efficient as possible. But around corners, you really do want it to stay in gear and stay at some revs, and having paddle shifters lets you just, you know, do that with a flick of a finger. So I really love that this truck includes it. Supremely smooth, very, very terrific ride quality with zero bump impact harshness versus the Escalade and some of the other biggies in the group. Like the Infiniti QX80, for example, is awesome and handles really well. Also has a terrific engine. It sounds a little better than this Lexus is, perhaps, but that QX80 does not have, it hasn't, the QX80 Limited has a special suspension that mitigates some roll, but it doesn't have the air ride feel that a lot of the Range Rovers and the best full-size SUVs have. And previously, this Lexus did not feature that either, and it still doesn't. So the fact that Lexus has been able to get this to ride so smoothly via just its electronically adjustable dampers is huge news, and having the sport modes to dial in a firmer setup lets them actually take the comfort settings even more comfortable. So it's even more comfy in a straight ahead cruise like we're doing now, which is a great compromise. I mean, that works for everybody. It broadens the envelope of what the vehicle can do, as well as increasing driving pleasure for all scenarios. You know, whether it's just chill on the way to the club, or whether you're trying to hit some red lines and you know, show what this beast can do. So LX570, all new for 2016, looks so good. So 89K base price for this truck. Really quick, I'm just going to read the details. Some of the big options we have are the $900 head-up display, $1,100 leather package with semi-aniline, leather trimmed, contrast stitching, heated and vented front seats, second row heated seats. I'm turning here. Mark Levinson sound system, $2,350, so that's kind of a pricey option, but worth it. Dual screen rear DVD, $2,000, and then heated wheel cargo mat for like $500. So all in, we come in at $98,000, which may seem like a lot, but you know, once you drive this truck and you really realize what it can do day in and day out, whether you're on some kind of crazy adventure in the Kalahari or whether you're just you know, driving around town, the LX570 is a rock star. Awesome truck.